this young lady from New Hartford Central School, Kaya, K-A-I-A Henderson, and the Syracuse newspapers report that Syracuse University has offered her a scholarship. She is a freshman at New Hartford, and she has already been offered a scholarship. Henderson's a point guard, has been offered a scholarship to play for the Orange. According to her father said that SU is the first school to extend an offer to his daughter, who's an all-CNY player who averaged 25.9 points per game last season as an 8th grader. And what he says is, we don't want to let him know this, but Syracuse is her dream. She'd have said yes right now, but the university is like, well, you should, let this play out before you make your decision. You do have a few years.
Yeah.
She's a 9th grader. Ron Moshier standing by. Pretty great story right there, huh, Ron?
No, she's a super kid and one of the best female basketball players that I've ever seen play in this area already. And I can tell you, we knew about that on Twitter, but it was not confirmed or anything. Obviously, Syracuse has a little more
with the university,
a little better connection with SU. But I am a little surprised just because she's so young. I'm not surprised because she's so talented. I mean, she's last year she was our All-Mohawk Valley Co-Player of the Year with, it was sort of the long and short of it, the 6'1", 6'2", Julie Ford, who's at UAlbany right now on a Division I scholarship from Cooperstown. She shared that honor with Kaya. So we had a point guard and a center up on stage last year last summer at MV. But Kaya is like a whirling dervish. I mean, she seems like she's playing at a different speed. It says she's in a different league.
She averaged 25.9 points per game last season as an 8th grader. Holy moly. That's
we're going to see her for a while here.
We're going to see her for a while.
And then hopefully watch her on TV. So or maybe at the Dome.
Wouldn't that be something? So, all right, Ron, here we go as we're making our way through the regular season in high school football. And what have we learned? What have we learned to set up for yet another big weekend?
Well, we learned last week that if there was any doubt at all if Holland Patton football team was for real, we found out Saturday at Notre Dame. I believe the halftime score was 28-7, and I think Notre Dame scored in the last seconds of the first half to make it that. And Holland Patton now 6-0 and suddenly number 6 in the state in Class C, and they've actually have a tough regular season finale coming up against Canastota, but it'll be their homecoming. Actually, it's at Whitesboro High School at 6:30, I believe, Saturday night, because their field's still under construction.
Okay.
Holland Patton 6-0. What Brian Briggs has done as a coach there, I think it's his 4th year at his alma mater. They got a great running back linebacker in Justin Haas. I think he's the heart and soul of that team. Nick Heronshaw, great wrestler, by the way, Bill.
Yeah.
He's the quarterback, and they can run it. They can throw it. They run the spread. They have big offensive and defensive linemen, and they're a veteran team. I mean, this has been in the works, I think, for the last few years, because I think Brian told me 38 kids on the roster, 20 of them are seniors. So
wow.
I think they firmly believe this is their year, and they could complete an unbeaten regular season with a win Saturday night against a very good Canastota team. And I don't know, it's just it's good that Holland Patton. It's been a while. I don't know if you remember way back when Todd Hoban was a star there at Holland Patton. Now he's the coach at West Canada Valley.
Yeah.
He was a great player there, and I mean Holland Patton has a football history, but it's been a while, believe me. So.
Yeah.
The other big thing last week in the Valley, Bill, was Herkimer going to Dowsville, going up 14-0, and then holding on for a 14-12 win. Those two teams were ranked in the state in Class D, and Herkimer's got one loss. Dowsville had won, I think, 3 in a row. I think it's still a very good Dowsville team, and the other team in Class D is Frankfort Schuyler that we've got to watch. They finish up at Sequoia Valley Friday night, I believe, in the regular season finale. So the other one I wrote about it today about Whitesboro beating a Pine Bush team from down just north of the city, a Double-A team. Whitesboro down 14-0, showing that they can play from behind, which in years past, their offense hasn't always been a come-from-behind offense. And look what Joe Panuccio and Tommy Morial have done. They connect for 2 touchdown passes, and they come back and win 21-14. They're 6-0.
Yeah.
And they play their regular season finale at home Friday night against a Carthage team that's 5-1 and has won 5 in a row since losing to unbeaten Indian River team. So that should be it's actually a non-league crossover, but it should really tell us where Whitesboro's at going into the playoffs next week.
And what happens with Proctor? Because their season is regular season's a little shorter, right? By 1 week.
No, it's the same.
It is the same. Okay.
They finish up against one of the very best teams in the state. I call it a little college, Cicero North Syracuse. They host Cicero North Syracuse on Saturday afternoon in their regular season finale, and I think mathematically, whether they lose that game or not, I think Proctor's already in the AA playoffs.
Right.
So, but the way it's set up, they're in the AA playoffs. If they finish 4th in their AA league, and Cicero North Syracuse winds up number 1 in their half of the other half of the AA, I think they would have to turn around and play each other again in the quarterfinals. Yeah. I think that's the way it works. We'll find out Sunday. The seedings come out.
All right. Well, listen, hard to believe, but we're already talking about football playoffs, and I know it's a different season than it used to be, but talking about high school football playoffs, really crazy. So,
well, hey, and I also appreciate you guys not getting in touch with me yesterday because it gave me a day to get over a 63-yard field goal on the last play of the game. So, with the Giants,
that's a tough one, Ron.
Well, they lost it early on too. They did some squirrely things, so they sort of got what they deserved, but it was just hard to swallow.
I just find in Syracuse, I mean, that was a very tough game against Pitt, but that defense just could not stop that running game.
No, and let's face it, the week before they had a hard time with the running back ATN for Clemson, but that was Clemson. This was Pittsburgh.
Yeah, holy moly! Yeah. All right, Ron, we appreciate it. Read about it in the Utica OD, uticaod.com. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks, guys.